Shelly.
Hi, Ilona. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, so let's talk about the pattern.
Okay. Oh, my pattern?
Yeah,
The thing that I like to talk about is procrastination.
okay,
Horrible procrastinator.
okay. Tell me more.
Well, it's funny because at work, at my daytime job, I work in finance. I procrastinate, but only on things that I don't really want to do. And I know I have to do them, so I will eventually get them done. But where I'm really having a problem is on my wild fed. I'm procrastinating on, sending out emails. I'm procrastinating on doing social media. I'm procrastinating on setting things up. So I'm really procrastinating on doing things for my business is where I'm having the problem. So as I say, my day job where I get paid to do stuff, I'll eventually do it. However, when it comes to my stuff, because of course no one is behind me saying you have to do this, you have to do this. So I will just procrastinate. Like case in point, a lot of people post once, twice a day on social media. I haven't posted in like a month.
Okay, and what's the cost of this pattern?
Basically, I don't get clients, right? Because people don't know that I'm out there. Like, when you have to sell yourself, you have to actually get in front of people's faces because nobody will ever sell just like that. Like, no one will just see you and go, okay, I'm willing to give you money. You have to keep going out there and that's the problem basically is, yeah, I just don't get clients and I'm not starting my business because of that.
Okay, and anything else? Anything else about this pattern?
I don't know why I do it. I've done a lot of stuff in the past about I do have a lot of trauma in my past. So there is a lot of trauma in my life, which I've known about. And I've been doing trauma work for about a year now, and I have never come across why people procrastinate. So I
Okay,
don't actually know the answer to that question. So a lot of stuff I've been able to figure out on my own. However,
yeah,
this I can't.
got it. So the premise of our work is that it's your beliefs about yourself and life,
Yeah.
most of which are unconscious, that totally determine our behavior, our emotions, and ultimately our reality. So underlying every pattern are beliefs, right? So the question I was asking you is, do you have any feelings about this?
As to
Like,
why I do it.
no, no, not why you do it. You do it
Oh,
because you have beliefs. That's why you do it.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's not the question. The question is, when you procrastinate, how do you feel? What emotions do you feel about yourself?
Basically it's just not good enough to do this, or I can't figure out how to do this, or this is like the one thing with me is I've never been, despite the fact that I really should be, because everyone has a phone and everyone is in social media. I've never been like that. Like friends of mine have actually joked about the fact, like they've actually had bets as to see who would get me onto Facebook first. Because I went entire years without ever looking at anything. And I think because of that, I'm very hesitant to go out there. And also I'm very hesitant to, I've always worked a desk job. I've always worked in an office. So I'm used to people just bringing clients to me and them plugging in front of me and me doing what they want. So me having to go out and get clients, that's scary to me. And that is very contrary to who I am, to how I market myself, how I interact with people. Like I prefer to be the person in the back, to be the person, against the wall type thing. So to actually be out there and to be actually discussing, and also the stuff that I'm going to be discussing, right? Like in order to get clients in my line of work, you actually have to tell them why this is good to do. So the best thing to do is to bring up your own personal story. Like I did this, and the reason that I'm a coach now is because this was my reality before and this is
Yeah,
my reality now. So you're
yeah,
telling people intimate stuff about yourself. So you're vulnerable, and that just doesn't really come naturally to me. And again, I'm sure it has something to do with the trauma and the beliefs that I got from that trauma. That so that's basically why I do it. And
perfect.
yeah, the feeling is horrible. I'm like, you can do this, you should be able to do this, Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. So, what do you think you believe? You said one belief, which I'm going to have you say again in a minute. But what else do you think you believe that would have you not just go out and sell yourself, put yourself out there?
I just, I guess, I guess I figure probably what it is I don't think I'm good enough to do this.
Okay,
So this is something that's so far out of everything that I've ever done, and it's so far out of my comfort zone. I'm like, I don't think you should be able to. I don't think you can actually do this. Like, I've
got
always
it,
believed that there are people who can sell and there are people who can't sell. And I'm one of those people who cannot sell. So I wait for everybody else to do the selling and then bring me the people that I need to do my job.
got it. So underneath, I'm one of those people who can't sell. Is there a because? Why can't you sell? I'm not. Besides, I'm not good enough. What else?
I guess it's probably a thing of I just don't believe anyone's going to buy something from me. Like, I just don't believe that people, like when I go out there and I try to, even with my friends, I try to talk to them about wild fit. No one wants to. And these are people who've actually seen the like seen my body and see the
Mhm.
difference. So, and when I saw them first, they were stunned at how better I looked and how much better I was working and the rest of it. And still they don't believe this will happen to them.
Got it. And is
So
there, again, is there something underneath no one will buy from me? Because why?
I don't actually know.
Okay. All right. So take a deep breath.
Okay.
Say, I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough.
Now say, I'm a monkey.
I'm a monkey.
So when you say I'm a monkey, how does that feel?
It feels wrong.
When you say, and feels silly, right? Just,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It doesn't feel like it's true,
yeah.
yes.
And when you say I'm not good enough, how does that feel?
It still feels wrong. Like it's still like there's like I can feel it in my heart. Like it feels like my body's telling me, no, no, you're wrong. That's not right. And yet I still procrastinate.
Yeah. So when you say I'm not good enough, does that just not feel true?
My body doesn't think so.
Yeah, but I'm not asking you, that's one piece. Your body doesn't think so. But does it feel true to you when you say it? Like,
I'm not good enough. Yes, it feels true to my mind. It doesn't feel true to my body.
okay. Is there anything else you believe that would have you not do this?
Um,
When you kept saying, I'm not good enough to do this, what's this?
to become a wealthy coach, to actually start my own business, to actually, I mean, I would love it. Don't get me wrong. Like when I'm on vacation, I love the fact that I can just get up whenever I want to get
I
up, do
got it.
whatever I
I
want to
got it.
do.
I want to stay. I'm going
Yeah,
to keep you on a short leash now. I want to stay with
sure,
the,
of course. Yeah.
okay, okay. So if you believe I'm not good enough to become a coach or to start my own business, what would you have to believe that other than I'm not good enough?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But
Yeah,
as I say, my body doesn't believe it, but my mind does.
okay. Not sure because normally when you say a belief that you have, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel good to say it. So when you say my body doesn't believe it, when you say the words, do they feel flat or do they feel charged?
When I say it, my body feels like there's like a weight. There's a weight on my chest. So
That's
it
how,
doesn't believe that.
no, 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 no.
Okay.
Thank you. So
Okay.
this is very good. When you say, I'm a monkey,
Okay.
those are just words. Your body doesn't feel a heaviness, a weight. Your body feels a weight, not because you don't believe it, but because you do.
Oh, okay.
If you didn't believe it, it would just feel like words, right? So you feel
Yeah.
a weight because it does feel true. So your body is agreeing. That's what I wanted. Okay. So if we go back, Ilona, to the
Yeah.
earliest memories of childhood, where would you get the idea that you're not good enough?
I actually don't really have any memories of my childhood. I somehow have shut off all of that. I don't actually remember anything in my childhood.
So
Like
what's
I shouldn't say that. There are one or two pieces that I don't remember, but I've been told by my family that this has happened to me. but
Okay,
I don't have any memory of it.
okay. So what's the trauma?
Oh, there's several, and a lot of the trauma is actually from my parents. They were traumatized individuals. They really weren't capable of taking care of a child. So what I discovered was you need three things, right? You need the connection, you need the love, you need the boundaries. I didn't receive any of that. I wasn't really taken care of when I was a kid. So that brings up the trauma. And then there's certain incidents. I'll tell you the one incident. And again, this is my family told me this. I actually don't have any recollection of it. But when I was 3 years old, we all went to the beach, and we all got out. And of course, like as I say, my parents weren't really very involved parents. They kind of left me by myself, and I took off. And apparently they were freaking out, they were running around, blah, blah, blah. And eventually, a couple brought me back. Like I was basically, I was basically holding hands to this couple, and they brought me back. And my dad freaked out. He actually tied my leg to the car fender. And then I spent the rest of the day kind of trying to get out and crying and the rest of it.
Got it.
So I think that's probably one of the traumas. Like other than that, as I say, the traumas that I've had where they just weren't there for me.
Got it. I want you to take a deep breath.
Okay.
Say, I'm not important.
I'm not important. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I'm going to switch to that belief for now.
Okay.
So every child alive wants three things: affection, attention, and acknowledgement. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you do not get your needs met, you don't get taken care of, you don't get attention, right? Kids are like, watch me, mommy, mommy, watch me, look at me, daddy, watch me. And you don't get that. That's what a child concludes. They ask, why? Why am I not getting attention? I guess I'm not important. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, totally makes sense.
Good. So would you say both of your parents were like that?
Both my parents were like that, but I actually didn't really spend a lot of time with my father. We were in Czechoslovakia when I was born, and my parents were in Czechoslovakia when Hitler took over, so that's why they had a lot of trauma in their systems. So obviously the trauma kind of got passed down the generations. So when we were still all living in Czechoslovakia. My dad was working in other countries. Like he worked in Australia, he worked in England, and then he eventually worked in Canada, and that's how we ended up here. So at that time, I didn't have any contact with my father.
Got
So
it.
I really didn't spend much time with my dad and then of course when we came here, they shortly thereafter they divorced. So I wouldn't didn't spend a lot of time with my father. So he wouldn't have given me attention or affection or anything like that,
Okay.
but he wasn't there to begin with. And
Got
my
it.
mother was the one who was primarily the caretaker. And yeah, she is not at all. She did not take care of me like that at all.
What was she doing?
You know what? She actually just, and it's interesting because I know now that she was making it up somewhat. She worked. She would work like 15, 16-hour days. And then like I remember when I was about 6 or 7 years old, I was the one who was making dinner for my sister. So it was the two of us, and my sister was older, but I was the one it was always me that had to take care of somebody else. Yeah.
Awesome. This is great, great stuff. Because, yeah, let me just write something. This will be great if we can get it. Okay. So we're going to play a game.
Okay.
And the game is called Valid Interpretations.
Okay.
And we're going to make believe that we're watching a video of your childhood. And what we see is dad is absent and mom is working all the time. And when she's there, she's not present. She's not taking care of you. You're taking care of your big sister.
Yeah.
And so any child would conclude, I'm not important.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. What's another interpretation that you couldn't see at the time that you could see now that would account for the fact that he was absent and she wasn't present, other than you're not important?
Well, in the case of my dad, it was my dad and my mother. Like my dad even joked around about that my mother was the rebound. He was dating somebody else, and then they broke up, and then he rebounded to my mother, and then he married her very quickly. So they were like oil and water. Like they were butt heading all the time. So he really wanted nothing to do with her. So, and when he was living in Canada before we came here, he already started living with somebody else, which ended up being my stepmom after a while. So yeah, their relationship was pretty much, yeah,
Yeah,
dead in the
so
water.
but that I want more of why. So one interpretation is it wasn't that you weren't important, he just didn't want anything to do with your mother.
Yeah.
That's a valid interpretation. What else? Why else do you think he wasn't around?
He didn't want kids.
He didn't want kids.
He basically told us that, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't
Yeah,
want kids. So
he
it
didn't
wasn't
want
that
kids.
you weren't important, he
Yeah,
just didn't want children.
yeah.
Awesome. And I'll hold that one. Okay. And what would explain your mom?
She was incapable. I
She
mean,
was
I recognize that now. She was not capable of having children. She really
good.
shouldn't have had children. And also, I mean, my mom, this was at a time where that's what women did, was they grew up, they got married, they had children. I mean,
Got it.
now, of course, that doesn't happen, but at that time it did. So she just did what she was supposed to do when she couldn't
Got it.
actually do
So
it.
she was incapable of taking care of a child,
Yeah.
and it had nothing to do with you not being important. It was her own shortcomings.
Yes.
And being in Czechoslovakia, maybe they were traumatized.
Oh,
And
very much so. Very
in
much so.
order to not take care of children, you have to be very emotionally disconnected.
Yeah.
So your parents were emotionally disconnected, and it had nothing to do with your importance. Is that a valid
It
interpretation?
is a valid interpretation. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were traumatized.
Yeah.
And this is silly, Ilona, but even if it were true, even if you weren't important to your parents, that doesn't mean you're not important, because you would have been very important to me if I lived next door. Is that a valid interpretation?
Yeah. It is.
Awesome. So if there are other valid interpretations that would explain your parents' behavior, is what you said, I'm not important, the truth, or simply one valid interpretation?
It's one valid interpretation.
Awesome. Now, doesn't it seem like as a child, you saw I'm not important?
Yes.
Awesome. Did you ever see I'm not important?
No, you can't see that.
Awesome. So let's just make it real. Anything you could see has a
Yeah.
color, shape, and location. Yes?
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you ever see I'm not important?
No.
Good. What did you see?
I saw two people who were incapable of having children or
You
not wanting to have.
cannot see incapable of having.
Oh, I see. I just saw I wasn't taken care of.
Perfect. So I could see your father being absent, and I can see your mother not giving you attention, affection, acknowledgement. I can see her not meeting your needs. I could
Yeah.
see you making dinner for your sister at 7 years old.
Yes.
Awesome. Where was I'm not important?
Nowhere.
Well, if it
Was
was,
it was here.
yes, that's a place. So it was in your mind,
Yeah.
in your head.
Yes.
Awesome. Now, I'm going to make a distinction.
Okay.
Consequences versus meaning. So the consequences of your parents' behavior were enormous. You had to take care of
Yeah.
yourself. You didn't feel loved. I'm not minimizing the consequences, but I'm going to ask you a question. And I don't want you to answer. I just want you to sit with it, okay?
Okay.
What does it mean? Not how did it feel? Was it awful? Were there consequences? What does it mean? What do we know for sure? Because your parents were absent when you were a child and you weren't taken care of. Now, before you answer, if you're in a room and somebody you know comes in and doesn't speak to you, what might you automatically think?
They don't like me.
Perfect. That's meaning.
Yeah.
Where did that meaning come from?
My head.
Awesome.
Little noggin. Yeah.
All meaning comes from your head, your
Yeah.
mind, right? So if meaning is in your head, do events have inherent meaning?
No.
No. We don't know anything for sure because something happens.
Yeah.
So my husband died. That was devastating. I miss him. There were consequences, but it doesn't mean I'll never love again, or I'm going to starve to death, or I'm never going to be happy again. The events have no meaning.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, doesn't it, and you're doing great, by the way, doesn't it seem like the events made you feel not important?
Yeah.
Can events that have no meaning make you feel anything?
Shouldn't. No.
Can they?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're walking down the street and a man walks past you and it has no meaning, what are you going to feel?
Nothing.
But if you give it the meaning, he'll protect me, what are you going to feel?
I feel glad that he's there.
You feel safe.
I'll feel safe.
If you give it the meaning, he's dangerous, now what are you going to feel?
I'll turn the other way. I don't feel scared.
Exactly. So can events that have no meaning make you feel anything?
No.
They cannot. So what made you feel not important?
Just decided that, I guess, on my own.
What do you mean?
That's the meaning that I gave to it.
Brilliant. So the meaning you gave to we trust our feelings,
Yeah.
Lona, because we think our feelings come from reality. But our feelings don't come from reality. Our feelings come from the meaning we give reality, which is why four people can see the same thing and have four different interpretations.
Yeah.
Right? So close your eyes and imagine being a little girl and Auntie Shelly is there. And I say to you, sweetheart, you are so important. And your parents are dysfunctional. They don't know how to make you feel important. Nobody ever made them feel important. And you say, oh, I see, Auntie Shelly. I'm important. My parents have issues. And as you're giving the same events that meaning, do you still have the feeling that you're not important?
No, it's
Well,
gone.
yeah. And if you didn't have that feeling as a child, would you have it today?
No, would have been
Awesome.
gone.
Okay. Now take a deep breath. Say, I'm not important.
Not important. It's gone. I feel nothing. Does this mean I have to go on social media now?
No, but you have a choice.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, I want to see if I can do one more.
Sure.
So when children are not taken care of and they have to fend for themselves, a lot of things are difficult. And so they often conclude something, and I want to see if you have it. Take a deep breath. Say, I'm not capable.
I'm not capable. Oh yeah, I got that.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
this is very, very big because I'm going to show you something right away.
Okay.
So would it make sense that if you had to take care of yourself, that would be really hard, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And if at 7 you're making dinner for your sister, that might be very tricky.
Yeah.
So one interpretation is you're not capable. Give me one interpretation and then I'm going to give you one.
Uh, what, I'm sorry, I don't know what you
What
mean.
else? What else could it mean that,
Oh, that I'm not capable?
yeah,
I just don't have the knowledge.
you hadn't been taught?
Yes, I haven't been taught.
How was school for you?
Fine.
Okay,
School's actually fine. Yeah.
awesome. So one interpretation is you weren't taught and things were difficult because you weren't taught, not because you're not capable.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I ask people like you who were neglected as children and had to be responsible at a very young age. Do you have kids? And they say, yes. I said, can you imagine your 7-year-old making dinner for
Yeah.
your older child? And they go, no, but you did that.
Yeah.
So one interpretation is you were incredibly capable. Is that a valid interpretation?
Yeah, it is.
And you raised yourself pretty much
Yeah.
and you turned out. You have a
I'm
job,
still alive.
you have a business, you're still alive.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And I have clients who say, my mother was there for me a lot, but one time she wasn't, and it was like, yours was never.
Yeah.
So one interpretation is you're incredibly capable. And now you have access to trainings, to friends, to seek out help. And you didn't have that as a kid.
Yeah.
So if there are other valid interpretations, is what you said, I'm not capable, the truth, or one valid interpretation.
One valid interpretation.
But doesn't it seem like as a child, you saw that?
Yeah.
Did you ever see, I'm not capable?
No.
In fact, what did you see?
I saw that I was very capable.
I mean, if I'm watching a video, you can't see I'm capable,
Yeah.
but I could see. What would I see? What else besides feeding your sister did you do?
I took care of the house. I fed the cats. I I took myself to school. Like I walked and we actually went to a school that wasn't in our area. So I walked every morning to like 3 kilometers by myself. And I got back. Yeah. Yeah.
Got yourself dressed,
Yeah.
fed. So if I'm watching this video, I could see a little girl doing things that
Yeah.
most little girls couldn't do. So where was I'm not capable? And what does it mean that you struggled with certain things as a kid, which I'm sure you did?
Again, because I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't
Yeah,
have anyone to ask.
but what's the inherent meaning in the events? What do I know for sure? Because you might have struggled as a kid.
The inherent meaning would have been I'm not capable, but
No, what's the meaning in the events? What do I know for sure about you? Because you had trouble as a kid doing certain things that you were never taught to do and did a lot of things you were. What meaning?
not really sure.
Well, where does all meaning come from?
Comes from the head.
Well, if meaning is in here, do events have meaning?
No,
So what meaning do the events have?
none.
So the fact that certain things you struggled with as a kid, as I'm sure you did. I had a client in your situation who was trying to open up a can of ravioli, and he said he doesn't understand how he still has fingers because he didn't know what he was doing. And his mother came in and screamed at him. He was also 7 or 8. He took his soccer shirt and he washed it, and then he put it in a frying pan to dry it because he didn't know how to dry it. So I can see a little
Yeah.
kid not being able to do things, but figuring it out.
Yeah.
And the fact that you struggled with certain things doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. That's true.
So again, the feeling that you had that you weren't capable didn't come from the events, because events that have no meaning can't make you feel anything.
Yeah.
So what made you feel that you weren't capable?
Because I decided that.
The meaning you gave the events.
Yeah. The meaning I gave it.
So all of our feelings come from the meaning we give events. So close your eyes again and imagine Auntie Shelly is there. And you say, you know what, Auntie Shelly? I am the most capable kid in the world. When I grow up, there's nothing I won't be able to do. If I could make dinner from my older sister at 7 and I could clean the house and get myself to school, I must be the most capable person in the world. And as you're giving the same event that meaning, do you still have the feeling that you're not capable?
Nope. It's
And
gone.
awesome. Take a deep breath. Say, I'm not capable.
I'm not capable. No, it's gone.
Now, where did I'm not important and I'm not capable come from?
It was a meaning I made up.
Awesome. So we live as if we are our beliefs. But you said, I made the beliefs up. So you can't be your beliefs because you
Yeah.
were there before the belief was. Notice, Ilona, is your life consistent with your beliefs?
Not really. Surprisingly enough, not really.
How could it not? If ultimately it
Yeah.
always is. So you may be able to do things because you're so capable, but you are stopped
Yes.
by the beliefs. Do
Yeah.
you, when you're in a room, do you speak up and do you say what I have to say is important and here I am?
No.
No, you're afraid to go on social media. What
Yeah.
is it? People are going to like you or they're not going to like you. I mean,
Yeah.
but our beliefs determine our lives, our behavior, our emotions.
The only thing is my mom, because my mom did work a lot, my mom put a belief of work in us. So that's how I've actually ended up getting what I've gotten is because I work really
So,
hard.
so is your life consistent with your beliefs? Your mom told you something about work,
Yes.
so you work hard, but you
Yes.
still have the belief I'm not important, so you don't speak up. And you still have the belief I'm not capable, so you don't do things that you easily could do,
Could
right?
do to put me to the next level.
So
Yeah.
is your life consistent with your beliefs?
Yes.
So if you create your beliefs
Yeah.
and your beliefs create your life, what does that make you?
Not capable.
If
Or
you create your beliefs and your beliefs manifest, what does that make you?
the most powerful. Very
So,
capable.
so close your eyes. It makes you the creator of your life.
Yeah.
So you come into this world as a little ball of consciousness. Before you make any distinctions about yourself, life, or people, do any exist?
No.
In that space, what's possible?
Everything.
What limitations do you have in that space?
None.
You know how we live as if something's missing, if only this, if only that.
Yes.
Right now, as the creator of your life, is there anything missing in that space?
Probably relationships.
So you come into this world as a little ball of consciousness.
Yeah.
Before you create any distinctions about yourself, life, or people, do any exist
No.
in that space? What's missing?
Nothing.
That's right. That is who you are. Who you are is the distinction creator. Who you are is that which creates your life, limitless possibility. So what does it feel like right now in this moment to create yourself as the creator of your life?
Feels great.
No, you're not there.
Oh,
Okay, let's do it again. I want you to go back to that space,
okay.
right? You come into this world. You don't know there's an up, down, good, bad, right, wrong. There's no distinctions. You create distinctions and they manifest.
Yes.
People who believe life is hard have hard lives. So before you create the distinctions, there are none. And once you create them, they manifest. So what's possible in that space?
Everything is possible.
As the creator, as everything is possible in that space, what does it feel like right now?
Infinite.
Yeah, yeah. Limitless,
Yes. Limitless.
free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you can open your eyes. So why great doesn't describe the space is great is a creation word. It's a
Oh,
judgment.
I see.
When
Okay.
you're really in the space, it feels
There
infinite.
are no just.
It's very different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You did amazing, amazing, amazing. Now, remember this. Once you get rid of beliefs, they're gone and you won't give meaning. So I want you to imagine for a second
Okay.
doing something that you might not have done before.
I think again, social media. That's have
Okay.
to be my
And
little
as you
touch.
imagine it, does it feel the same or different?
It feels different. Feels like I can do it. Because
Yeah.
really, people like me, who cares, right?
Yeah. It's beautiful. Now, you may have other beliefs in the way, but it feels like a possibility now. Yeah. So when you get rid of beliefs, you stop giving meaning to those events, right?
Yeah.
So if you get rid of the belief I'm not important and somebody ignores you, you might say, oh, they must be having a bad day, or maybe they didn't see me, instead of they don't care about me, right? However, anytime you have a negative emotion, if you stop and ask yourself, what happened? What meaning did I give what just happened? And come up with one other possible meaning, then get that the event has no meaning. We don't know anything for sure because that happened. You can move through to get rid of the emotion.
Great.
And it's a great tool to practice. But when you get rid of beliefs, there's nothing to do. You'll just be different.
Amazing.
So
I actually,
you,
I actually, you had mentioned this to me before, and I actually came up with something for with my sister. I actually came up with something that she did, and I did the same thing. And I'm like, she could have, this could be the other reason. So I actually got rid of that belief because of that. Yeah.
yeah. So you didn't get rid of a belief. You got rid of, so beliefs get formed in the past. Meaning gets formed in the moment.
So I got rid of the meaning.
Meaning, and then you got rid of the emotion,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
emotion, whatever you were feeling towards your sister went away or wasn't there to begin with.
That's right.
So when the meanings you give events generally come from your beliefs. When you
Yeah.
get rid of the beliefs, you just don't give that meaning or mostly any meaning.
Yeah.
So you did amazing.
That's
Thank you
amazing.
for trusting me. It was really,
Oh,
really.
yeah. No, thank you very much. Maybe I'll go on social media today. Maybe I'd go on my Instagram account and see what happens. Yeah.
Hey,
So thank you very much. I really appreciate you.
you're welcome, sweetheart.